All right, Boy Green, loving the hats and the strumming, and that song means it's time for our old pal, Bud Poliquin, as we do a little brunch with Bud here on a Tuesday morning. Good morning, Bud. How are you?
I'm fine. A lovely morning to you boys.
That's it? No other pleasantries?
No.
Boy Green, what's going on with the hat there? You've gone a cowboy jet thing here, man. It looks like something maybe you'll be wearing at our game in October or something.
That is exactly what I'll be wearing at our game.
Oh, wow.
But where he won't be wearing that is next Tuesday night, a week from tonight.
You don't think so? You don't think
I know so. I know so. You are not wearing that a week from tonight. Okay?
That's too bad. Incredibly fashionable.
I got the tickets. You show up with this costume, the tickets get torn up. Okay. We're going to the theater, folks, and he's going to see Hamilton with us.
For the first time, going to the theater.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And there's no way he's walking in this garb, okay?
Yeah.
We got a high-class night that night, not like this show that we put on here on Tuesdays. Go ahead.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Well, we can get into Hamilton and a whole bunch of other things, but let's start with sports. Bud, Syracuse survives your former campus, kind of. I know you went to like UConn satellite campus in Hartford or something. Yeah, it's your alma mater. Let's just stick with it. It's your alma mater, UConn. And it gave Syracuse quite the scare. I want to talk to you about Syracuse finding a way to get this victory. And then, of course, we have to talk about Fran Brown having the team run sprints after the game in front of a departing crowd. So we'll get into both of those things, but let's start with the game. How surprised were you that your little Huskies hung around, dare I say, with Syracuse for quite a while and kind of choked that thing away at the end?
Well, it's going to be a game that they are going to rue. The Huskies are going to rue not winning that game, because when you have a favorite and a heavy favorite at that on the ropes, on the road, you got to close that deal out. And they're going to be that could have been their signature victory of the season. Pretty early to say that, but it really could have been. So, from a Connecticut perspective, it's a shame. From a Syracuse perspective, I don't think it's a bad thing, because what it's going to do is grab them by the lapels and give those fellas a shake. That last year's 10-3 is last year's 10-3, and we have a challenge ahead with our schedule that is hard to imagine. And we're lucky, and the gods were good to us to let us hold on and beat Connecticut, come back from behind, I should say, to beat Connecticut. I think it's kind of it's a horrible thing for UConn, but I think it's a pretty good thing for Syracuse, because it might wake them up. And the sprints afterwards.
Yeah, come on. Give me your take on that. I mean, I was very curious how you would be feeling about that. There have been a lot of interesting national reactions to it, because it has made the national press, because you just don't see it in college very often. A coach basically getting angry with his team after a win, a comeback win, saying, get out there, fellas, and run some sprints. But Fran Brown was apparently very upset. And I heard John Gruden, who's had some interesting things to say about it, wasn't exactly in Fran Brown's corner. I heard Greg Olson not really digging it either on national TV, and I'm sure there were plenty of others commenting on whether or not this was a good move or not. So what was your take on Fran Brown having the team run sprints after a win? I don't even know if I like it after a loss, but after a win, help.
Well, number one, I don't agree with the idea that he was showing off himself. I just don't. Now, he might have been. I don't know the man. But I don't believe that Fran Brown was saying, look at me, as John Gruden says, look at a tough coach. Look what a tough coach I am. I don't buy that. I do say it was a little more theatrical than was necessary. And the other thing, too, let's not get carried away. What I saw of the video, they weren't running sprints. They were jogging.
Like a jogging exercise. Really wasn't much of a like, get out there. It wasn't the scene from Miracle. Okay. Let's, again.
Yeah, they were half leaping.
It was like, it was like a 25-yard jog.
Yeah.
And, okay, it was a little theatrical, but guess what? The message is delivered. It was a teaching moment. And I literally loved what he said. I'm a sucker. Okay. I'm a sucker. I'm naive and I'm a sucker. But what he said afterwards, look, we have a standard. They didn't mean it. And so I reminded him, this isn't how we're doing things. And he also it was pretty cool when he said, look, I don't know if I believe it, but he said, I'm here to help football players get better, but I'm helping these guys. I want them to be good husbands. I want them to be good fathers. And I want them to be, pillars of society. And you're not going to do that by cutting corners. And so I'm going to let them know right now, I'm happy we won, but I didn't like the way we played. We didn't play correctly. We played well enough to win. Our talent allowed us to win, but we didn't play correctly. And going forward, we better play correctly. We're going to do this again. I have no problems with it, although it was a bit theatrical.
Yeah, I would just say, sprints or no sprints aside, that was just a pathetic showing. And maybe this is going to sound like an elitist pig over here, Bud. Yeah. Syracuse should not require overtime to beat the UConn Huskies. Where is Syracuse in terms of stepping up to the plate? To me, I thought it was pathetic. They should have lost the game. They found a way to scrape it out. And okay, a win's a win at the end of the day. But if that's the sort of pathetic effort we're going to see, this Syracuse team isn't going to win many games this year. And boy, Stephen Jelly, that was the worst 400-yard, whatever it ended up being, passing performance I've ever seen. So many dropped interceptions, looked like a baby deer out there going all over the place. I mean, he was awful.
And the Boo Birds were coming from the crowd, too.
Good. For good reason. He sucked.
Okay. There's a bit to unpack there. But the general tenor, while I don't agree, I think it's a little harsh. I'm from a strict football perspective, and if all you are is to be a hardcore football dude, who can argue with that? Okay. They played down to the level of their competition. They lucked out. They're 1-1. Everybody knows they should be 0-2. But I still say, even in this era, and I'm the naive guy of the three of us here, even in this era of professional athletes playing out there and playing poorly, and they deserve, hey, you want to cash a check, then you have to get booed. You have to accept the boos when they come. I don't feel sorry for them. None of that. Don't get me wrong. I don't like all these big paychecks. I don't like the idea that, they're student athletes. They're not. I get all that. What I also get is, this is not going to be a quick fix. This guy comes in, goes 10-3 last year. That doesn't mean we're seeded 10-3 seasons going forward. There's going to be tough times. There's going to be bad games. And wow, they're pretty darn lucky. So I think, and also remember this, he's got a whole new team. Like everybody's got a whole new team. He's got a lot of players that weren't here last year. The portal, the transfers, the freshmen, all that nonsense, which makes college football and college basketball not interesting anymore to me. But I still think you're a little bit quick with they stink, as you said. I know you didn't say stink, but anyway.
No. Yeah, that was.
It just the sprints just felt a little high schooly to me. Like there is a point at which you are a college team or you are closer to the professional level, because as we've talked about a lot, these guys are pros these days. They're not even college kids anymore. The whole idea of the student athlete is just a laughable commodity these days at a Division I school like a Syracuse, and certainly at the Ohio States and the Notre Dames and other places of the world where the football rules. So that's kind of laughable, but it just felt a little high schooly to me. I think that's where I stand on it. Was just like, is this high school? I mean, really? This is how we teach people to become men? Get out there and run some sprints. I don't ever remember that making me more of a man when I did that back in my, dare I say, my CYO basketball days.
Well, again, you're not far off. I can't say that you're crazy, but I will say, let's make no mistake about this. This is professional football that we're watching, and it's professional teams sponsored by universities and colleges who've sold their academic souls to make some money.
Yep.
It is professional football, and it is bad professional football, because the best team in college football, like I said a week or two ago, the best team in college football, let's say it's Ohio State, would go 0-17 in the NFL. So I'm not saying spare them the booze and don't hurt their feelings. They're pros. This is pro football. I still say, though, as I said, I think it's a little quick to dismiss this team, this coach, et cetera, et cetera.
And if we're being honest, boys, running high school sprints after a game isn't the most bizarre thing we've seen Fran Brown do. Apparently, after losses, he refuses to shower. I can only imagine how his wife feels about that, but refusing to shower until they win a game again. I mean,
that's not. I haven't heard that. Really, he'll go a week or 2 or 3 without showering.
100%. That came out last year. Let me pull.
Won't get washed, as he says. I don't wash.
Hey, look. Hey, he's a pro too, and he's making way more than we'll ever make, the three of us combined. That's stupid. You can be a rich guy, you can be a successful guy, you still can be stupid. We're seeing that all over America right now. And now we're seeing Fran Brown says, I won't bathe until between losses. First of all, I don't believe it. And secondly, if it's true, that is, I'd rather.
Or at least take a wash
He should be out
the
running
armpits or
sprints.
something, right?
Yeah.
Every couple
But
days.
he's embarrassed because his team didn't play well. The team should be embarrassed that we're being coached by a guy who doesn't bathe regularly.
Yeah, here it is. This is from last season.
Yeah.
It came out. Syracuse coach Fran Brown refuses to shower after losses, instead saying winners get washed.
Right.
So
winners get washed.
That is ridiculous.
Well, speaking of pro football, I mean, we're only a little more than a day and a half removed from the Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens, but what turned out to be an instant classic. Even Bills Mafia, who are such dedicated fans, many exiting the stadium down 15, more than halfway through the fourth quarter. I mean, come on, seemed like it was a done deal, but it was not a done deal, and it turned out to be an unbelievable football game.
Well, it may hold up, and we'll not know, but it may be knee-jerk stuff. But it may turn out that ends up being the regular season game of the year. We'll find that out as the season goes on. That's how good the game was. And I'm going to tell you something that you're not going to believe, and I don't blame you because it's so easy for me to say this. But I never, ever – I'm not saying I thought the Bills would win, but I never thought that they couldn't win because all they needed was 2 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion, right? In the PAT. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, I forget the math of it, but they were down 15 and they tied it, and then they went ahead and won.
Yep.
So guess what? In baseball, that's called 2 runs, right? This is the thing about football. They score and they get 7 points. In baseball, you score and you get 1 point, right? So they weren't down 15 points. If you look at it through a baseball,
down 2 scores.
They were down 2 runs.
Yeah.
Baseball teams come back from a 2-run deficit all the time late in the game. That's a little silly, and it's a stretch to make my point that as I'm watching that game, said, look, all you have to do is get the ball in Josh Allen's hands 2 more times, and who's going to tell me or anybody what Josh Allen can't score 2 touchdowns in 7 minutes? I mean, come on. So was it great? Was it wonderful? Was it something that you didn't anticipate? You wouldn't have bet that way. But I sat there. I didn't turn it off. I didn't go to bed. I said, this game ain't over until the fat lady sings, and the fat lady didn't sing until after Buffalo won the game.
Talking with Bud Poliquin, it's our Brunch with Bud here on a Tuesday. Hold your question for a second, Paul. I just want to remind people that today's broadcast is brought to you by our friends at Cam's Pizzeria, where it's always love at first slice. Let's just take 30 seconds to learn a little bit more about our friends at Cam's.
When you think of Cam's Pizzeria, think about 2 of your favorites, their zesty buffalo chicken wing pizza or their tasty chicken bacon ranch. Over 16 specialty pizzas made fresh daily with the best ingredients. Indulge in their homemade calzones, subs, wraps, salads, and their famous cannolis for dessert. They're all made with love just for you. Order online for 10% off at camspizza.com. Locations in Camillus and Oswego. Cam's Pizzeria. It's love at first slice.
All right, we are back. Manchild Show with Boyd Green at MC Show Digital, our YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe to our channel. Get a chance to get in some of the cool giveaways that we're doing, including a David Tyree autographed The Catch framed photo that's going out the door pretty soon if you are one of our first 300 subscribers, and we are a mere 30 away now from getting to that magical number of 300 and sending that prize on its way to one of you lucky 300 who decided to be the first 300 of our new channel, which has only been in existence about 2 months right now. We're doing Brunch with Bud Poliquin. I'll hand it over to you, Boy Green. Go ahead. What's your next question?
Yeah, let me ask you something, partner. Here is an important question.
Say like it, partner. That cowboy hat on.
Baby.
Hold on, I gotta put a hat on here. Right, keep talking. I gotta go get a hat that somehow measures up to this because this is this is a little too much for me.
Okay, fair enough. Bud, let me ask you this: an important question coming off Sunday Night Football. Did the Bills win it, or did the Ravens lose it? Because people on social media were saying, Bud, that Baltimore just finds ways creatively to lose these games, and they're the ones that lost the game, and the Bills just were the beneficiary, as opposed to the Bills seizing it. Where do you stand on that, Bud Poliquin?
Well, I do know this, that that fumble was not good. If he holds on to the ball, Baltimore wins. So
correct.
Yeah. It'd be harsh to do after the way he ran the ball. but it would be harsh. But come on now, you're a pro. If you hold on to the ball, your team wins. So did they blow the game? I could see somebody can make that argument. But, this idea of somebody won it versus somebody lost it, that works for me in a lot of instances. What happened here? A win, somebody win or somebody lose? I don't know how you can watch that game and really go that route. I'm just not going to do it. It was a fabulous, it was a spectacle. It was an athletic football spectacle by the two best players in the league. All right. I'm in my mind anyway. Josh Allen, he's MVP for a reason.
Yeah, he's reigning MVP. Yeah,
that's right. And the other guy's an MVP for a reason too.
Two-time MVP.
Right.
Yeah.
So I have no problem saying it was a titanic game for opening night. Yeah, the rules say somebody has to win, somebody has to lose. So it's not for me. That question's not for me because I don't want to. It's not for me. I don't know.
Okay. That question isn't for you. Is Manchild's new hat for you?
Not at all. That hat has got to go, and he can't wear that on Tuesday night. If somehow you give your ticket
my
to
Dick
him,
Tracy hat. You don't like my
Dick
Dick
Tracy?
Tracy?
Can't show that hat because he's not getting into the theater either.
Which do you prefer, Manchild's or Boy Green's?
Well, I hate to do this to you, Boy Green, but I like Lerch's more than
Come on.
Just a new reporter.
A cowboy hat in Syracuse, New York, with a Jets insignia on it, logo, whatever. No, it's not my taste.
Way to go with ace reporter James Lerch on the scene.
This looks a little Sam Sneedy to me, and I don't really know.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, or a little. Who was the
Chichi Rodriguez?
Chichi, a little Chichi.
Yeah. I don't need Chichi or Slamming Sammy. So anyway,
it's hat night today on the show. I got hat day on the show today.
I didn't get the memo.
Hat day on the show. You didn't get the note? You got anything good around there? I know you're not at home, but maybe you could find something on the wall.
I'm looking around, I don't really see anything.
Maybe like a Viking hat or something,
Oh, sure.
Horns, that'd be kind of cool.
I got nothing but kids stuff down here, and I can't see a hat.
Next time.
Yeah.
We can make this a hat affair. We could try and outduel each other, go for something even wilder the next time.
Okay, so let me ask you that, Bud, because you mentioned it off the top that me and you will be attending Hamilton. Okay, that'll be happening next week. So we'll have another brunch with Bud before that Hamilton takes place. Are hats acceptable in a fancy way?
No, you're not wearing a hat. You're not wearing a hat. You're not wearing a Celtics jersey.
No. I'm not talking about this.
You're not wearing a hat. You're not wearing a hat. I'm not letting you. That's it.
What kind of parameters are you putting on this guy? It's a night out for him on the town. Let him decide his own wardrobe. Crying out loud.
And really go out there like putting on the Ritz. Go ahead, knock yourself. Put on a top hat. Go ahead. But you're not getting under the baseball cap that says Jets.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying like a Tom Landry or something. I don't know what hits. Okay.
You can put a fedora top hat.
Yeah, this is very Landry.
Whatever.
That's true, too.
It is a little. I don't think that's his color, but
yeah, he never did the yellow. Yeah, we actually got this hat in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
We were at the Pittsburgh Pirates game, and the interns who were with us on the trip, we were just putzing around in one of those knick-knack stores down in the Strip in Pittsburgh. And I was just trying on weird hats that were just all on display. And they're like, we like that one. This was the hat. They were like,
I agree. I said it. Yeah.
That hat. I was like, really? A fedora? I can pull off a fedora? They're like, yes, you can pull it off. Buy that hat. I did.
I feel a little bad that I wasn't invited to go on that trip, but not anymore. Okay. No. That was one of the highlights of the trip.
I didn't say it was a highlight of the trip. I just said that's how I ended up with the hat. They convinced me that it looked good. What can I tell you? I've been a fedora kind of guy. Yeah. All right. So you were thrilled with the Bills and the Ravens, I guess. It sounds like
it was a glorious.
You never counted the Bills out, so you wouldn't have left that stadium like others did.
How could you?
Not out of it.
Josh Allen. No, I mean, really, if you had to win a game tomorrow, and if you lose, the Martians take over. Okay, you're going to save the world from the Martians.
Right.
Who's your quarterback tomorrow? I'm talking about. Tomorrow, I'm not talking about bringing somebody out of mothballs. I'm talking about in today's league right now, who's your quarterback to save the world from the Martians? Anybody says they're Josh Allen, Okay, it better be Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, it's one of those two guys. That's
Joe Burrow.
And it's
No,
probably,
no, no.
it's probably Allen just because of the superior throwing ability. That he
And
has.
don't even say it. Get ready to get the mute.
He's
sound
ready to go,
ready,
Justin
okay?
Fields already. Yeah, he's already.
Come on, we have our quarterback, baby.
Yeah, you got your
Justin
quarterback.
Fields is the choice.
All right, let's go there next, Bud. They end up
Come on.
losing to the Steelers. Aaron Rodgers throws 4 touchdowns against his team, and he's still a smiling, happy guy because he feels like he's got his quarterback of the future, and that's all that really matters. Once you get the franchise quarterback, everything else is gravy, as they say. So look at him. He's a happy guy despite a loss.
73% completion percentage, 3 touchdowns, no picks, 50 yards rushing. Come on now, Justin Fields, baby.
Well, I'm not going to go Justin Fields. I am going to talk about a 60-yard field goal. And I'm telling you, I'm old enough to remember when if you had a 45-yard field goal attempt, it was like pins and needles time, white knuckle time. Is my guy going to make it?
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, you kicked one from anywhere, like in the upper 40s, never mind 50. It was like, wow, the guy kicked a 49-yard field goal.
Right.
Well, they trot him out for a 60. I know that you had no choice. It was a Hail Mary.
Yeah, they had.
Yes. But nevertheless, a 60-yarder, and as we all know, it could have gone for 62, 63 yards.
For sure.
Well, I'm just, again, I've seen enough football and I've lived long enough to know that there was a time where if you said a 60-yard field goal attempt, you said, why are you bothering? Better to throw the ball Hail Mary into the end zone.
Sure.
Not going to take a 60-yarder. And he kicks it, and it could have been 63 yards.
Yeah.
So you can talk about Fields all you want or Aaron Rodgers, and they deserve to be talked about. But I'm still flabbergasted that somebody goes out there and swings a leg and the ball goes 60-plus yards. That's phenomenal.
With the game on the line. He
With the game
misses
on the
that.
line,
Jets win.
Outdoors,
Yeah.
That's
the difference.
that's saying. But anyway, the Aaron Rodgers thing. I don't know what to make of the guy. I mean, he's an old guy. He's coming off 2 clearly bad years. And even though the year or 2 before that in Green Bay, he was, no big shake. So he has been an average quarterback for the last 3 or 4 years. And now he's 41 years old, and he's with his 3rd team in 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
3 seasons?
4 years. Yeah.
Or whatever it is. I don't know. Was that real? Was that a mirage? Was that fool's gold? I don't know.
And he was chirping after the game too.
Yeah, he was.
Like, come on, dude.
And I tell you what,
you're gonna have one good game against against the Jets, and you're gonna get hey, I'm back, baby. Look at me. Nobody believed. I'll show you at one game.
Yeah.
Boy, you would think a veteran like him, even though I know he has the giant ego, wouldn't go down that road. But maybe that, there's that anger about Aaron Glenn and the way I guess he was treated by the new coaching staff. I guess that's lingering, but I still think you resisted because you are putting yourself in harm's way in the sense of being looked at as a fool if you don't really actually turn out the kind of season
wait a minute.
that one game.
Wait a minute. Aaron Rodgers has made himself look like a fool for a few years now.
That's true.
With all of his political thoughts, all his medical thoughts, all his going off into the jungle and doing his drugs thoughts, living in the black hole for a week or whatever he lived in, for that
darkness.
Going through all these Hollywood actresses. That guy has been the fool for a while now. Okay. So him saying what he's saying, while I don't know that was well advised, given the circumstances of how it ended with the Jets and how it's begun with the Steelers.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's clucking a little bit. It doesn't bother me because him being a fool, him being a complete weirdo, that's been in my thought process for 4 and 5 years now. So what he said didn't shake me. I will say the one game does not a season make.
Yeah, we got another problem with that team that also plays in New Jersey, my New York Football Giants. Brian Dable did decide a little over a day ago now, Bud, that indeed he is going to stick with Russell Wilson. Believe it or not, I'm actually happy about that because I watched that offensive line on Sunday, and I don't want Jackson Dart going out there and getting killed. And as much as I, like the next Giant fan, want to start winning games and being viable and hopefully finding our franchise quarterback and saying, all right, we finally have a guy, I'm also in favor of not having him killed before he gets to even show that he can be that guy. So what's your take on all of this? Or where do you stand on the whole? Should Wilson continue to play? Should the Giants play the two veterans for a bit before they hand the torch over to Dart? Or you think the sooner the better these days?
The Giants made a decision to bring in Russell Wilson, and they gave him a nice little contract, and they gave him the ball. And they said, you're our quarterback. They did their studying. They did their interviewing. They looked at their resources, and they said, this is our guy. This is the decision we're making as an organization. If that organization or whoever the ultimate decider was, if it wasn't consensus, there was a decider, that decider and or that organization would look stupid if you make this decision and you are committed to it. This is a great idea. He's not finished. He's going to be our guy. And then after one game, we can say, well, throw that out the window. I think they would have looked like complete fools. Never mind the fact that really somebody would think that Russell Wilson is not the better choice right now. Right now, we're only one game in, than an untested kid off the bench. Right now, you got to stay with Russell Wilson. You got to give him 2, 3, 4, 5 games. You can't give him all of that contract, all of those accolades, all of the hoo-ha, and after one game say, kick him to the curb. They'd look like idiots.
Well, they have looked like idiots in recent years, so that's part of the problem.
Well, why continue? Sooner or later, stop looking like an idiot. And I would repeat if I said anymore.
Again, we're speaking with Bud Poliquin, Brunch with Bud here on a beautiful Tuesday now. Bud, let me go to one of my favorite things, Texas, baby. And, it's been an interesting journey over the last couple of weeks, Bud. A couple of weeks ago, we're like, oh, Arch Manning, number 1 overall pick. Then last week, we're like, he's probably going undrafted. This week, back to number 1, baby. Did you see how they took care of San Jose State? 4 touchdown passes. Arch Manning's back to the top of my board.
You love this Arch Manning.
Just as I said after week 1, put away the pitchforks and torches, folks. It's way too early to rush to judgment here. I'm also saying, okay, great. He has stabilized himself. It's great. He had the bad game. He had the good game. And that's lovely. That's beautiful. I'm not picking on this guy. But I'm saying, okay, today's September, whatever it is, September 10th or whatever.
September 9th,
what is it, 10th, 11th, somewhere. It's early September.
9th.
And so he is 12 days, 14 days into this season. It's not even the middle of September, and people are going to draw conclusions. Not me.
Well, boys, I don't know if you heard about this, but Arch Manning during the game over the weekend, after he threw a pass that wasn't a very good pass, appeared to wince in pain. Okay, and a reporter reported that he appeared to be having throwing pains. Steve Sarkisian, in his press conference, quipped back, according to who? I'm quoting him here. Arch said that to you, Sarkisian said. The reporter responded to Sarkisian that he had not spoken with Manning. Video circulating on social media and media outlets appeared to show the quarterback grimacing in pain. He went on to say, listen to this little idiotic thing that he went on to say. I've never filmed any of you guys when you're using the bathroom, so I don't know what faces you make when you're doing that. Yikes.
Who said that? Arch or Sarkisian?
No, Sarkisian said that to a reporter.
Well,
you grimace when you're on the bowl. So
first of all,
when he makes a bad throw, he wasn't in pain. He was just grimacing because he wasn't happy. But we've got more controversy surrounding Arch Manning in just 2 weeks of football. My goodness.
Coaches, for the most part, are not fonts of reliability. They're nobody to really listen to. Whenever they talk, they're not talking to the fans. They're talking to their own players. They really are not servicing the media or the fan base. They're servicing their locker room. So everything a coach says is being spoken so that the guys in the locker room hear it, read it, see it, and digest it. That's been my position for God knows, since God was a little boy. That's been my position. And the other thing, talking about coaches, Gundy and the guy from Oregon, Lanning, I guess it is. Who's the guy? Who's the coach of Lanning?
Yeah,
They
Dan
got
Lanning is Oregon.
They got in this little tete-a-tete about, who's got the deeper pockets and who's been able to buy the talent and so on and so forth. And they're kind of arguing it, but what's the point they're arguing it? That's like the Yankees and their payroll and the Florida Marlins, the Miami Marlins and their payroll. I mean, these are facts of life. And if a heavy payrolled Oregon team toys with an underpaid, salaried Oklahoma State team, what's wrong with acknowledging that? And yet now we're going to fight over that. Should Gundy have said it? Should Landy have fired back? Then I guess Gundy said something else. It's like, come on, boys. This is a little silly. It's great copy. I'm all for it. It makes some great reading. Gives me something to say today. But like, why listen to these coaches? They don't. There's nothing about the Gundy Landy thing that I say is controversial. And yet they've made it controversial. There's something crazy about what Sarkisian said, but that has nothing to do with anything that's true or false about the health of Arch Manning. Deflection. It's a word that's out there in the newspapers everywhere. Sarkisian could be deflecting there.
Let's stay in college football, but let's give a tip of the old cap to Bill Belichick, baby. College football win numero uno. Yes, for Bill Belichick. And also the pettiness between Bill Belichick and the Patriots continues. So Bill Belichick confirmed at his presser that Patriot scouts are not allowed on the North Carolina campus. They are not allowed because Bill Belichick said to basically a shot over at the Patriots, it's clear that it's let me get it straight. Quote,
this is like little kid stuff. I mean, I felt like I was in elementary school or pre-K when he made this statement. Go ahead.
And here it is. Belichick said, quote, obvious I'm not welcome at their facility, end quote. Mike Vrabel said over the last 24 hours, as far as I know, he's allowed here. So there's a lot of back and forth petty stuff going back and forth. And the beehive was sort of kicked because I guess Robert Kraft said something about Bill Belichick, which led to Bill Belichick saying the great thing about being on college, I don't have to listen to an owner or his son giving a shot at the Patriots and that structure. Oh, boy. A lot of back and forth for someone in Bill Belichick who's in his 70s.
This has gotten petty.
Again, we have silliness and pettiness at all levels of society these days, right up at the very top in the White House, right down to Bill Belichick and all beneath him. And maybe on this show, sometimes we're going to be petty. It's hard for me to believe that a guy as decorated as Bill Belichick, and, he's going to go down in any argument, right or wrong, might have been all Brady. It might not have been, but he's going to go down in any argument as one of the top 1, 2, 3, 5 coaches in football history. For him to give a hoot about, there we go.
Brady versus Belichick. This book actually, I don't think this book is officially out yet. So shout out to Gary Myers for sending it to me early. The Dynasty Debate. Who is more responsible, Tom Brady or Bill Belichick? So shout out to Gary Myers, my guy.
I don't even understand.
But here's an example, and this is not an original idea. I read it in the Globe the other day, the Boston Globe, and the writer said, Dan Shaughnessy is his name. Dan Shaughnessy said, when Russell and Auerbach were winning all the championships, nobody raised the question, who's the bigger deal here, Auerbach or Russell? Nobody wrote books. There were no documentaries. There was nothing.
Really?
So this whole thing is something that I'm having a hard time giving any credence to. It's stupid. Now, Gary writes an entire book about this.
Yeah.
Is that really worthy of a book? Of all the books we could be writing out there, we're going to write about whether Belichick or Tom Brady is the bigger deal. They never said that about Casey Stengel and the Yankees, and Don Shula and the Dolphins when they went the perfect season. Was that Don Shula or was it, Manny Fernandez? Nobody's talking like that. Why
I'm guessing on this one, BG. I'm going to guess on it. Okay. 279.
Okay. Now, Bud, how many pages do you think this book is? How long is this book?
Oh, you're asking me that?
Yeah, because you said, who could possibly write a book about that? I'm like, I wonder how many pages.
I'm going to go 280. How about that?
Okay. Oh what was yours, Lerch?
279. So I get the under, I guess.
And ding, ding, ding. Oh, wait, we've got sound effects for this. So let me take full advantage of our soundboard.
Ding, ding, who won?
Okay, who won? Who are we going to?
You want to crown them? Then crown their.
That would be none other than.
Let's go around.
You know,
283 pages.
he capped me by oh my God. I guess 279. He went
He
one above
Price
me.
is
It was
Right at
3
you.
pages more. Oh,
Hey,
my
Lerch, I know all this stuff. Okay.
That's sick.
Hey, seriously,
That's a legitimately good guess.
do you guys share my befuddlement, or do you say no? You're
No,
being
I
too
do. He might not, but I do. I mean,
About why are we debating
can
this? What are we
write
even
a
Why
talking
are we
about?
debating it? What's the
283
point?
page book on that.
What is
Of
it?
course.
We've never done it. We've never done it. I don't even know. Okay, and that's shame on me. I don't even know who the Edmonton Oilers coach was when Gretzky and the Oilers are winning all those Stanley Cups. Why? Where does it say that the Patriots supersede all the other? Did John Wooden, and you say, was it John Wooden or was it Kareem Lou Alcindor? Was it John Wooden or Bill Walton?
I guess the question Bud's asking here, Boy Green, is why does this even come up?
Yeah.
You know? Because towards
who
the
cares?
end, they started to have disagreements. Is that why it came up? Because we haven't done this for years and years. You know, they said Bill Parcells or Lawrence Taylor. Who's more responsible? You know, Joe Namath or who was their coach back then?
Lee Buback.
Lee Buback. Who's more responsible? I mean, this has never been a conversation until these two guys come along, and then it becomes some kind of conversation. And then people actually measure it, and they say, because Brady won with Tampa, he's definitely the more valuable guy. And then,
any coach who says, I'm the reason my team won is a fool. The coach wins because his players are good. The coach wins because his players are better than the other guy's players. That's why coaches win. Can they help good players win games? Sure, of course. But nobody can take bad players and win big. Nobody. And why would and I don't really like Belichick, but why we would discredit Belichick or discredit Tom Brady, who I don't really care for one way or the other either. Yeah. I don't understand it. Of course Belichick helped, and of course Brady helped. And yeah, if you had to choose, I'm always going to take the quarterback over the coach. The quarterback's on the field. So, but it's not anything to debate. It's like, okay, Brady had more to do with it, but that doesn't mean that Brady still wins 6 without Belichick. Well, 5. He won 5 with the Patriots, right?
Six with the Patriots, and then he won a 7th with the Bucs.
I stand corrected.
Yeah, but I will say just first off, I hate Tom Brady and Bill Belichick equally. So I have equal hate distribution for both of those individuals. But I don't think it's a debate. Clearly, Bill Belichick did zip and pip without Tom Brady in the Cleveland days and at the beginning of the Patriots center. He was almost fired before Tom Brady. And then he gets the Tom Brady thing and the thank you, Mo Lewis, tip of the cap to Mo gosh darn Lewis for hitting Drew Bledsoe on the sideline and almost killing him, which got Tom Brady in the game, and the rest is history. Clearly, if this debate, I haven't read the book yet, but there's no debate. It's clearly Tom Brady. He won with Belichick. He won without Belichick. Bill Belichick folded like a used lawn chair as soon as Tom Brady left New England, got unceremoniously fired. And now he's in college with some 24-year-old girlfriend. Come on now.
The one thing I will argue against Belichick, and all what you said is true. That's indisputable in my mind. But Bill Belichick, what a great thought I had, and I just lost it. Wait a minute. I got it. Bill Belichick. I say something, it'll come right back.
Okay, you said that you want to. The argument you have, everything I said, you can't.
Oh yeah. The one thing that when they say Bill Belichick saw something in Tom Brady, and that adds to his genius. If he saw something in Tom Brady, he and the Patriots wouldn't have waited to the 7th round to pick him.
6th round, 199 overall.
Okay, so Bill Belichick had maybe 6 picks or more, or 5, whatever he had. A lot of picks. And so did the rest of the NFL. Nobody saw Tom Brady coming. Nobody did. And for somebody to say, well, Bill Belichick and the Patriots, they really saw something. They didn't see anything. If they saw something, if they saw Tom Brady coming out of Michigan, they would have drafted him in the 1st round.
A lot of luck.
If they saw Tom Brady coming out of Michigan, they never would have put Drew Bledsoe on the field. So that part of it, I radically, totally will dispute and debunk and will not accept.
All right, but I'll end it with a fun thing here. You mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, I think you said it on air. If you didn't, then I'll let it out now. You are broadcasting with us today from Martha's Vineyard. Your daughter lives on the island there off of Cape Cod, and it was for many, many years, well before your daughter got a home there, a vacation spot for you. You've always loved the vineyard, right? Am I accurately portraying it? Yes.
Yeah, more or less, sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. What? You seem to
No,
be.
that's the trivial. No, yes, the answer is yes.
Okay.
Carry on.
So my significant other has been kind of chomping at the bit to get in a trip before the summer truly wraps up. And so she's trying to get me on a weekend and go someplace. And we've been discussing various places, Newport, Rhode Island, something drivable from central New York. Newport, Rhode Island has come on the radar. I have been there once many years ago. That's a beautiful place with those gorgeous mansions right on the water. So looking in kind of that part of the country, Boston is a possibility. I've been to Boston many times, but she's actually never been to Boston. So that's on the radar. But then it got me thinking about Cape Cod and Martha's Vineyard. And so I decided I'm a big Airbnb person. I love to stay at Airbnbs and meet people and stay in people's homes rather than stay in a hotel. That's always my preference if I can find something that works price-wise. And I was looking at Airbnb situations on Martha's Vineyard because I've never been to Martha's Vineyard. And so I was just looking, this was just a day or two ago. And there were just like 3 places that I could find on the whole island that you could get in on an Airbnb. And one of them was fascinating. And I wonder what you think about this. So it was a boat that was docked in one of the northern piers, northern part of the island. I don't know the island very well. But this was fascinating. So you'd stay on the boat. They have like 3 staterooms on the boat. You can rent up to all 3 of them. But if you just rent one, which is what we would do, we're only 2 of us, you get your own little kitchen, you have your own bathroom, and then you have kind of a sleeping quarters, and then you share the rest of the boat. And the owners are on the boat while you're there, so you can be up on the deck and whatever. And it's just going to be basically docked while you're there. So I don't know how you get out to the boat if you got to get on a dinghy or something. It didn't look like it was right, in a port, on a dock right next to the land. It looked like you had to kind of get out.
They get you onto the boat.
It gets you to the boat, whatever. So I was thinking about it. I've never slept or stayed on a boat overnight, and she's a big boater, so she would probably enjoy that. But one other little caveat of this boat. So there's a whole story on the Airbnb about the boat, and this boat, it was commissioned in 1980. All right. So it was put in the water in like 1980. So this is not a new boat. Mm-hmm. And the owner who is renting this out as an Airbnb said, so don't expect a new boat. This boat's been in the water since 1980. It's run all these wonderful, like humanitarian. This guy's like a humanitarian who owns the boat. So it's run all these missions to like Guatemala and these third world countries and brought supplies. So this guy's seems like he's got kind of a big heart. But here was the fascinating part. The boat is the boat that was featured in the final scene of the movie Trading Places, when you see Jamie Lee Curtis and Dan Aykroyd, on the boat at the end of the movie after they get the Dukes. Yeah, what?
I got to turn this. I'm listening. I got to turn this humidifier off. It just turned on.
Okay.
I keep talking. I can hear you.
All right, fine. So my question, I guess, to you, Bud, as you turn your humidifier off here, is an urgent matter here, Poliquin, is that a wise choice? And are you familiar with that boat? I can think of the scene already. I've seen Trading Places a million times. That's the Eddie Murphy, Dan Aykroyd, Jamie Lee Curtis movie from back in the 80s. And this boat was the boat that was featured on that final scene. I was like, oh, yeah, it does look like that boat. Now the scene, it's a big sailboat. Well, so should I come stay on a sailboat in Martha's Vineyard? I guess that's the question.
If you're going to share that story, which you have, you have to share what's the cost? What are they going to charge you per night?
I forgot what it was. It was reasonable. Yeah, it was reasonable.
What? This is a big secret. It's a business thing.
Yeah. I don't remember.
If I wanted to do that, what's it going to cost me?
I'm going to say it was, I don't know, 200-ish a night, something like that.
Well, that's you probably, although you're getting into the shoulder season, so you're probably
the shoulder season. What does that mean?
That means it's between summer and fall, or between
still in the month of September. I mean,
I know, but
that's very fall. Yeah, what you're saying, hey, let's get one last trip before the summer's over. I'm like, dude, the summer's way over.
Fall doesn't start until like September 20th.
Oh,
so it's still summer. I hate to break it to you, but it's still summer.
Right. The answer to your question is,
everybody wants summer to end before it ends. It hasn't ended yet.
Okay.
It has finite dates. We haven't reached the date.
I think if you look around, you might be able to find a cheaper rate, although maybe not significantly so. I think if you look around, I think you'll find something equally memorable, although maybe not as memorable as a semi-yacht, But you would also have a better bathroom, obviously, I assume. You'd have a private, you wouldn't be bumping into somebody in his
Correct.
90, walking down have a smoke out there near the railing.
Creating a bad vision here. It could be really nice people on the boat.
Well, but
meet some other celebrities. Who the heck knows? This could be a thing, taking pictures on the boat from trading places,
I would say you would do
Looking
that.
Good, Winthorpe, feeling good, Valentine.
I would say that you would do that if you were looking for something that you could talk about at a party that almost nobody at the party would be able to match. But would I drive that distance, take the ferry across to get on a boat that, hey, if it's a tough day, now the boat's going to be wobbling even at the pier. I wouldn't do that.
All right. Your advice is don't do the boat, but
all right.
Unless you have a real hankering to say, wow, look what we did.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to do the vineyard anyway, but it was just a fun, interesting question.
So we went through all that.
Yeah. I don't
talk about that. Why? All right, hold it before we go. Or do you have something to say, Boy Green?
Yeah, I have one last trivia for you boys. One last trivia before we go. So, Bud, you're 1-0 against Lerch. So, Lerch, here's your chance to tie. Okay. We just mentioned Tom Brady was the 199th overall pick in the 2000 NFL draft, 6th round by the New England Patriots. But Bud said, man, that probably wasn't the Patriots' first pick. So where was Tom Brady in the picks? What pick was he of the Patriots? And what I mean by that is, like, for instance, was he the 5th Falcon selected? Was he the 7th Falcon selected? Was he the 10th Falcon selected? Like, how many times did the Patriots go around picking a player until they picked Tom Brady? So I want a number.
All right. Well, it was in the 6th round, so I'm going to assume for the moment we got to start with the number 5. Okay. And I'm guessing because of the way you phrase this, I'm going to guess they probably picked up 2 more choices in there. I'll say he was their 8th choice in that draft.
Lerch?
I'll say 7.
Okay.
I'll have to cap him like he capped me.
Oh, yeah. So, Lerch, that was an interesting strategy because...
That is correct.
Bud nailed it again. Tom Brady was the 8th Patriot selected in the 2000 NFL draft. So any of that crap about Bill Belichick saying we perfectly waited for the right moment 8 times around the sun before they said, all right, fine, we'll take this Tom Brady guy.
Just take
Unbelievable.
All right, now I've got one for you, and then we'll end this. I'll make this quick.
Okay.
Later this month, a fellow named Bobby Shantz is going to turn 100 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby Shantz is the 2nd oldest major league player, still with us today.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1, I'm sorry, I forget who it is, but it's a guy you never heard of. Okay, so it's not, some big shot. Bobby Shantz was a 5'6", 140-pound left-handed pitcher. I said 5'6", 140 pounds. He played for the Philadelphia Athletics in 1952. That year, a 5'6", 140-pound man won the American League Most Valuable Player Award. He went 24-7 with a 2.48 ERA, and he completed 27 games. I'm not here to dance on the soon-to-be grave of Bobby Shantz. He's not going to be around for much longer. I'm not here to do it.
Very nice man.
By the way, because you disrespected this guy, but his name is Bill Greason. Okay, he's the oldest baseball player still alive.
All right.
So I'm not here to disparage Bobby Shantz in any way. I'm here to celebrate the idea of athletic evolution. Now, I ask you, if you picked up Bobby Shantz today and you tried him out on a mound at 5'6", 140 pounds, does anybody think that he'd go 24-7 against these athletes today? Does anybody think that he would survive long enough to have 27 complete games? So when people say to me, in any sport, but particularly in baseball, oh, the glory days, the golden era of baseball were the 40s and the 50s or whatever they choose, I say I don't grasp that at all. Do I like the way the game is being played today? No, I don't like this preponderance of home runs at the expense of all these strikeouts, that nobody can bunt, that nobody knows how to push a man over from second to third with a ground ball to second base, blah, 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 blah. But I have to say that the pitching that you see today is so more astounding than the pitching we've ever seen. There was a time when if you threw a fastball in the 90s and 92 miles an hour, you were a fireballer.
Mm-hmm.
And now, I won't literally say everybody, but quote unquote everybody in baseball can throw a ball 100 miles an hour. So I don't know how why they would argue, except for the style of play, argue that all day long. But the athletes, the spectacle that these guys bring to the game defensively, the throws they make, particularly in the infield, the outfield, outfield arms are horrible because they never even get near home plate. It's always up the line or down the line. But anyway, Bobby Shantz, look him up and tell me that would work today. A 5'6" left-hander being the MVP, not a good pitcher, not a spot starter, the MVP of the league. I just find that fascinating. And I find that to be exhibit 103 in my continuing argument that evolution cannot be ignored in sports. Every time we're in is the golden era of that sport. This is the golden era of basketball, of baseball, of football, of hockey, because the athletes say so. The athletes' evolution says this is the best time. And 10 years from now, it'll be better than today.
All right, let's pour one out. Let's pour one out for Bobby, who is soon to leave this planet, according to Bud. So
he is 99 years and 11 months. Yeah. It's a pretty good bet. He's not going to be around for long.
He looked pretty fit back then. He looked pretty fit.
He looked great shape. Sure.
Now stand him next to Aaron Judge. And I mean, Aaron Judge could put this guy in his back pocket.
Yeah.
And then he would take an offering from this guy and hit it into, the next county. So anyway, I'm not picking on the guy because I'm just saying that evolution says Bobby Shantz might not get a uniform today. And once upon a time, he was good enough to be an MVP.
Yeah. Well, the game has changed. Likes and likes, played with guys that were like him. But yeah, the game has changed. And the size of the players, the tools.
The size, the strength, the athleticism.
Yeah, it's a different game. It's a different game.
Mind-blowing.
All right, Arthur, as always, enjoyed our little brunch with Bud. We will talk to you again next week. Enjoy the vineyard. I will not see you on the boat, okay?
And, hey, young man.
If I go, you're not invited on the boat.
Get your costume in order. You understand?
I'll get you one of these, Bud. I'll get you one.
Okay.
All
right, boys.
See you next week. Now. We're doing hats, so think about it for next time. We're doing hats.
It's been a delight.
All right, there it is. Our brunch with Bud. Again, one more time, brought to you by our friends at Cam's Pizzeria.